oh my god, this guy's amazing. How of you guys? Celestia above, Luna above, Cadence above, Twilight below and above. Holy cow, this is amazing. You gotta be kidding me. Who could be? Oh my god, this writer's amazing. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. Sorry about that, folks. I think it'd be safe for me to admit I may have found a personal favorite in regards to crossover fics. Yes, those dubious and incredibly hard to pull off properly types of fics, second maybe to anonymous fics. Crossovers. The practice of taking one media and mixing it with another, such as mixing MLP with Fallout, creating Fallout Equestria. Now, of course, for every Fallout Equestria, we get, what's the nicest way to put this? A giant pile of crap? Yeah, a giant pile of crap. That kind of sums it up. Or to be more accurate, for every Fallout Equestria, we get about a dozen shitty spin-off titles by different authors. Needless to say, I've read a lot of crossover fics, and my views on them have always been very mixed. Either MLP doesn't cross over well with them, so the writer just kind of forces it to work, and it becomes blatantly forced, or when the stars align, the planets come into perfect connection with each other, and all the cosmic entities of the world collide into an aggressively beautiful explosion, we get crossover fics that actually work. This guy, Tetsuo, Gods of Writing Be Thy Name, has not only done it once, but not only twice, but consistently with almost every fic he's ever written, managed to cross MLP with pretty much every other kind of medium you can think of. Everything from God of War, to Red vs. Blue, to the topic of today's review. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you my review of Dressed to Steal, an MLP crossover between, well, MLP and Sly Cooper. And I don't mean just the first Sly Cooper game, I'm talking the whole shebang. Sly Cooper 1, Sly Cooper 2, Sly Cooper Thieves Against Time. A gaming franchise which I have to admit, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people have to admit, completely sucks. I've played the first game, and let me tell you, the bosses in that game, with the exception of the final one, Clockwork, are all complete crap. They're either mind-numbingly stupidly easy, or frustrating beyond all belief. Yes, I'm looking at you, Ms. Ruby, and your stupid QuickTime event boss fight. That wasn't even a boss fight. That was a freaking game of Simon. The sequel game had better boss battles, and you could say the same thing about Thieves in Time. But that's beside the point. The writer took a simple concept. Take one infant character from MLP, dump it into Sly Cooper universe, and make it work. The character in question was the interesting fan favorite. No, I'm not talking about Derpy. No, not Rose. Not Octavia. Okay, now you're just being ridiculous. Coco Pummel. The writer essentially made it where Coco gets adopted by Sly and, I'm probably gonna butcher her name, Carmelita. You know, the Fox Cop character. And no, I'm not gonna call her Foxy for convenience sake. Get your head out of the gutter. Anyway, they basically team up and adopt her. And the fanfic goes along with the basic boss battle mechanics, while having Coco thrown into the mix as a thief. Which would be difficult considering that this version of Coco isn't an Anthro version, it's the original version. So, how can a horse become a thief? Well, the writer manages to make it work. Apparently by using Pinkie Pie logic. You know, the whole concept of headcanon dominating main canon. For example, Coco essentially is really good with her hooves, able to use, I guess you can call it, grabber magic. You know, that magic that Pinkie Pie is able to employ to grab things with her hooves, in spite of the fact she doesn't have any fingers. Which I would normally complain about, but it actually works here. Though I will admit it is kind of awkward trying to imagine Coco carrying her own Sly Cooper cane. But that's more a personal thing as opposed to the actual issue with the fic. In fact, the story itself is really entertaining, and I highly recommend anyone who's either a fan of the Sly Cooper franchise, no matter how small that might be, or just a fan of Coco herself, to give this a read. It's a really good fic. I don't really know how to say anything else. Essentially, here's my advice. Play all the Sly Cooper games or watch playthroughs of all the games. Then read the fic. You will be amazed what kind of liberties the writer came up with. Especially in the grand finale. Oh my frickin' god. They do pull some grammar issues here and there, but then again, this fic is at least 100 and something chapters long. I know what you're thinking. Arcanum, this means you're probably going to give this a Platinum 11, right? Well, hold your horses. I'm not done with the review just yet. I mean, I may enjoy this fanfic excessively, but that does not necessarily mean I don't have a job to do here. Anyway, play the games or watch playthroughs on YouTube, and then read the fic. The liberties this writer took were amazing. However, there are a couple things I will admit that are a bit problematic. First off, there are small grammar errors scattered throughout each chapter. You'll find at least 5 per chapter. And I'm not going to blame the writer for this entirely, considering he or she was probably speed typing and didn't think to go back and edit. As someone who is also guilty of having committed this on occasion while writing exciting fighting scenes, it's understandable. As such, I recommend that the writer goes through a very light editing session, simply combing through some of their more action-packed chapters and fixing these minor errors. Although, if they really want to be thorough, combing through each chapter would probably be a wise move. There's no rule that says a fanfic writer can't read their own stuff from time to time. You might be amazed by what you could tinker with to make the story a little more fluid. The other problem I have is that the writer might have kind of maybe made Coco a bit overpowered. To not spoil too much, let's just say Coco essentially becomes Goku by the end of the fic. Going pretty much Goku, almost Super Saiyan God form, to be more precise. And while this might be beneficial, considering the threats they encounter by this point in the story, it does sort of make Sly seem a little more useless. A fact that does actually seem to be, in my opinion, a pretty big drop in the story's quality. But, aside from that, this and pretty much everything written by Tetsuo are really funny stories, in addition to being really well written and structured. And after giving this thing a read, I highly recommend you all give everything else he's put together a read. Believe me, you will not be disappointed, especially if you give his Red vs. Blue crossover, A Rock in the Gulch, a shot. It's not complete, but the second it does get completed, it's coming onto this channel for a review. Believe me. So, my issues with this fic? Well, as I've mentioned, there are some spelling and grammar issues, to which I give both cases a 9 out of 10. Pacing is spot on, although it does annoy me that he skims through a lot of level chapters. So, for that, a 9.5. Tensing is a bit of an issue, as in he seems to focus a lot on writing everything in present tense, which, while not necessarily a bad thing, does make the story feel kind of choppy and clunky. So for that, I give him an 8. So, overall, I give Dress to Steal a 9.5 out of 10. A really, really interesting fic with all kinds of liberties and just something that I think most, if not all, crossover fics should strive to be. Entertaining, immersive, and ultimately believable. Though, Tatsuo, please try not to make your next pony character too overpowered. You don't want your major insert character to overpower your main canon character. I mean, if you had, say, a superhero crossover and Twilight just suddenly showed up and was way more powerful than the lead hero, wouldn't that kind of make the other guy look kind of, well, useless within their own franchise? But I'm just rambling. With all that said, you all know what to do. Like, comment, subscribe, and if you're feeling particularly generous, stop by my Patreon account and leave a small donation. After all, every little bit helps. See you all in the next review, every pony. Bye-bye.